Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze of waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Oh, iron in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with much fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, going up. Higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves for people together.
Welcome to Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through edification, we'll highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper health care and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be a bite. There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the country cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's mini mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business, every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. Eddie.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful. It's such a beautiful Sunday. Just a little hazy from a lot of Sahara dust today, but nonetheless, we are above ground and loving it. We're alive. While we took our first breath consciously this morning, somebody was taking their last. But we are still here, and the reason why we're still here is because we have some unfinished business. We have things to do. So welcome to Edification 214 on this fair Sunday as April races on to the finish. And as we get ready to welcome May, the 5th month of the year. Wow, it's going fast, isn't it? You see why we should make every effort to keep a pace with time? Because time waits on no one. While time is moving at a speed that it tends to these days, are you feeling the complementary growth and development to consider yourself to be making the requisite progress in your life? Are you one of those who is very much on your way to becoming forgettable as soon as you die? Folks, you have to leave a legacy. Make a mark, leave a mark, do something important so that you have contributed. Because our job really is to leave the world a better place than we met it. If not, you've got to take some serious stock of yourselves. While so many are immersed in mawet and confusion and tebe all day long, every day, life is speeding by. Where is your personal growth in the equation? Where is your peace? Where is your happiness? You see, the time has come for us to realize God has made us extremely versatile to the point where we can do so many things at once. Have you ever thought of it? That we can feel, taste, fold, cry, smell, touch, just to name a few. And we can process all at the same time. That's how versatile we are as human beings. We were born free, you know. Yet for all, we grew up in an atmosphere where we trap ourselves with limited thinking and allow others to impress upon us how right we are to remain trapped. And we believe them because they hold power over us. So come on, folks, come on. Share the life, share the life as you're about to embark on a journey with me today that is meant to deliver you from self-imposed bondage. Tag your friends, comment, like, love, and be interactive as you know how to, so that we can get the show on the road. Grateful to have all of you join me today, as always. So let's do what we must, share the live. Born Free has been a popular song with music by John Barry and lyrics by Don Black. I'm sure a lot of you old enough would remember that old classic. It was written in 1966 for a film of the same name and won an Academy Award for Best Original Song. Famed singers like Matt Monro and Andy Williams were among the early singers of that wonderful rendition. I recall while growing up, this was one of my mother's favorite songs, which she used to sing voluminously wherever we lived. Go check it out. Of course, I can't sing, so I'll just talk it for you. Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows, born free to follow my heart. Live free, and beauty surrounds you. The world still astounds you each time you look at a star. Stay free when no walls divide you. You're free as the roaring tide, so there's no need to hide. Born free, and life is worth living, but only worth living, so there's no need to hide. Because we're born free. Stay free where no walls divide you. You're free as the roaring tide, so there's no need to hide. Born free, and life is worth living, but only worth living because you're born free. Folks, we were born free. Why are we letting somebody else tie us up? We were born to enjoy freedom, not just to be dumb and somebody else use the free part of freedom to do us what they want. No, we were born free. You see, because of conditioning, many of us are never ready for everything that we were born to gain. In the same way, we are never ready for everything we were meant to lose. Through the same freedom that we were meant to enjoy. You see, when we are living in our truth and being wholly authentic, we lose friendships and relationships that were one-sided, which we were never able to see while in captivity. So when we start to walk in our freedom, the many fake relationships that we are involved in will start to disappear. They will tell you what position they are in your life, in your life's journey. You know why? Because they no longer like the new and more conscious and improved you. You must understand that not everybody is ready to walk in their freedom. So being close to you while you are in yours is very, very disturbing to them. Their reaction is usually priceless. They walk away. In the same way, you need to stop to ponder the power of all those small, thinking, entitled, negative people in your life. It's too easy for them to destroy your life, folks. They have to keep you in a constantly pissed off state. They can destroy you, and they often do. They can leave you so drained that you return home to make confusion with your wife, your husband, or quarrel with your children. You don't even have any idea where all that rage is coming from, but it has to do with what they are rubbing off on you. You have been packed up with their negative energies that you let loose on the people who truly love you within your home circle. The level of power these negative people have on our lives, too many of us underestimate. My advice to you is that if anyone prove multiple times to be negative, and they prove that they do not value your relationship, don't take it personally. Just wish them nothing but the best. But move the hell away from them because they have nothing good to offer you. They will ruin you, folks. Grenada happens to be a factory for those. Grenada is full of those kinds of people. And it is the lack of education that fuels that high level of negativity. Do like me, dump them. You will find that your life becomes a lot less complicated and you can breathe much, much easier. So you see what I mean when I say, when you walk in your freedom, it disturbs the spirit of those who do not. So let's take a break here. In the meantime, please share the live and let's get some more people in the room to become motivated and inspired to graduate to their true and genuine freedom. Let's take a little break and come right back.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the country cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limit funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion higher. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, put people together. Like my child, slowly up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. I take it that everybody can get on to make comments this afternoon. Please let me know, especially Lydia, because last week I know she was a little bit frustrated. But Lydia, you have to tell me, you said once that it looks like if I will be growing a goatee just now, you want to start to plait it. Tell me if you like it, man, because I'm getting accustomed to it, At first I had my doubts, but I find kind of liking it now, Anyhow, my dear, welcome back. And for those of you just joining, whether it's for the first time or you're just coming on, just jumping on, remember to share the live. This sharing is based on the topic, of course. When you walk in your freedom, it disturbs the spirits of those who do not. But what is the value of freedom, we may ask? What is the value of freedom? A definition of freedom is the power or right to act, to speak, or even to think as one wants, or the power of self-determination attributed to the will. It's the quality of being independent of fate or necessity. You see, the Oxford Dictionary goes on to say that it's a state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. We have to take into serious consideration that freedom comes with responsibility, and that we all should be accountable if we were to really walk in our freedom. The real value of anything can only be understood by those who have earned it, or those who have sacrificed their lives for it. Freedom also means liberalization from oppression. It also means the freedom from racism, from harm, from opposition, from discrimination, from victimization, from due reward, which many of us think is unfair, when karma is visited upon us, and many more things, of course. You see, there is full freedom when everyone has equal rights. All people have a right to be free. For all to be free, each one has to respect the rights of others. Inner freedom is experienced when I have positive thoughts for all, including myself. You see, the non-specific value of a freedom or set of freedoms is its value in terms of the good freedom. If freedom is non-specifically valuable, then we attach value to our freedom, not only because of the specific things it allows us to do, but also because of the mere fact of our having freedom. As any nation entered the war, or a war rather, or struggle for genuine independence, These four freedoms, the freedom of speech, the freedom of worship, the freedom from want, and the freedom from fear, symbolized the aims of such struggle and ignite hope in the following years to a war-wearied or struggle-battered people, because they knew they were fighting and struggling for freedom. You see, freedom of assembly is not to be taken as freedom of people to assemble to disturb others. Freedom of association does not mean to amass strength to be used against the weak. Freedom of choice does not mean freedom to distress others by choosing always things that put others at a direct or indirect disadvantage. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom to say what you want, which has no factual or incontrovertible basis. All freedom comes with responsibility. You see, sometimes the term freedom and the term liberty tend to be used interchangeably. They are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. You see, if you can gain autonomy, you give yourself far more freedom to pursue competence and relatedness. The truth is that most people do not know that transformation is the end point of receiving truth. Didn't you vote for change on the 3rd of June 2022? Well, the transformation theme that you're receiving today is the end point of receiving that change, that truth you voted for. If you receive light, you don't submit to the transforming power of that light, you will never be able to become what that light intended you to be. You see, a lot of you voted for exchange. You wanted to be the new thieves on the blocks. You wanted to be the new corrupt acts on the blocks. You wanted to be the new itafudas on the blocks. Well, that won't be transformation, folks. Check yourselves. How could you say you are ever learning, yet still never coming to the knowledge of the truth? What therefore was the purpose of learning? Learning is supposed to bring you into an experience, but it will always fail to do so because you refuse to immerse yourself in the truth. How are you going to find your purpose if you're always hiding from and making every effort to sidestep the truth? Purpose is found in our daily walk, but we have to be both intentional and conscious to find it. We must give 100+% in everything our hands find to do. We have to allow excellence to become our trademark. On our journey of life, we will find out what our gift sets and skills connect with easily. That's a sign of our calling and, of course, our purpose. Stop waiting for anyone outside of you to tell you this, that, or the other is your purpose. Whatever your hands find to do it with all your might, all your heart, and on that journey, your purpose will be revealed. There is a name for a disease many among us suffer. You see, scientists just came up with a name for it. It's called ETD, Energy Transmitted Disease. Go get checked and take the necessary action to get rid of it, to prevent it altogether. You see, this energy transmitted disease, ETD, can be caught from those toxic people you love to hang out with. Stop hanging out with people who always find it necessary to report how they got screwed by this person and that person and the other person, like a stock record. It takes too much time to discover whether these negative rants are true or not. Don't become too immersed in trying to find out either. Just keep away from them. We have to remember that we become emotionally attached to our friends and the people we hang out with. All their drama starts to pour over onto us. According to this fellow I was looking at recently on Instagram, hang out with people who are like light and rainbows and not darkness and drainbows. You see, when you drop them, you will find that you can breathe easily again. You will become so unencumbered that you feel you can fly. You feel now is the time you can soar to higher heights in your own personal life. Sometimes you have to stop to think of where you can be without energy drainers that you call friends around you. I've dropped several people over the years, folks. Dropped them from around me. And the truth is, looking back, I missed none of them. None. They never really added anything meaningfully to my life anyway, while they were. And the decision to drop them was the best thing that ever happened to me. You see, when you're home alone and you feel to speak with someone, just to speak with, just to connect, and you run through a list of people on your mind that you probably could, reach out to for conversation, and you find yourself skinning up your face in your mind, of course, about the thought of calling any of them, you know it is time to do some more dropping. When you whittle it down to 1 or 2 or even 3, and your face gives off a pleasing countenance just at the thought of touching base, you know they are the ones who are worth keeping. As I told you several times, I only have 3 people I am in contact with constantly. And when I say constantly, I mean daily, almost. One is here in Grenada, and the other 2 are abroad. That is not to say that I do not have 1 or 2 others that I feel compelled to have around me who fit our areas of relational needs. But I can tell you, they are still few. And I'm perfectly okay with that. They know who they are. My life has been great for it. There are people I view in our society who I have nothing but good vibes I feel for them. And yet while fleeting past them, I would greet them with all sincerity, but they are just not part of my inner circle. Among them would be people who took offense to some things I may have said and continue to say during my frank public and even private discourses. You see, when I was not even thinking of them in particular, they were not even on my mind when I said what I said. And who, when I meet them, would subsequently throw a cold shoulder at me when greeted. Folks, that is usually the last time they ever get to exude any such coldness towards me. Such people are carrying their guilt, and that is their business. Their cross is their cross. For example, are you the only thief in town? Are you the only kleptomaniac in town? And they're hiding to listen to me? Are you the only clown that uses the media and you just cannot read and everybody laughing at you? Are you the only person who is never age appropriate with the way you dress and present yourself to the public? But as I already told you, their guilt is so strong, and such people do not know how to walk in their freedom and are usually disturbed by those who can and do. Let's take a little break and we'll come back with some more fire, folks. More fireworks today. Not easy, not easy.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the country cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, country cold store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cool Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for.
Oh, I in this song. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. I'm going higher. 50 years we're blessed with much fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Higher. Going higher. Happy smile. Build up us one people together. Like my drive. Only up.
Eddie Frederick has it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, I want you to type in the comment section. Let's get some motivation going here today, folks. I was born to stand out, not to fit in. Come on. I was born to stand out and not to fit in. Too many people in Grenada fitting in, going with the flow, and you're going nowhere, getting there in a hurry. You arrive nowhere, you still continue with that, beyond that destination. No, I was born to stand out, not to fit in. Come on, let me see you put that in the comment section. Let's get some interaction here today. So folks, welcome back. And for those of you just joining, I want to give you a hearty welcome again to this motivational and inspirational program today, or edition, or 214th edition of Edification. Folks, I want you to listen to this note that I received almost immediately after I posted my notice for this week's edition of Edification. The speed with which I received it tells me that it must have been written, for the most part, before and amended to refer to the topic so that it became even more current. I really can't believe that within a couple hours of my advertisement or promotion for this particular edition, that note could have come so quickly. Listen to this. Dear Mr. Frederick, I'm so glad to see this is the topic you chose for this edition of Edification. I have been and will continue to be an ardent listener to your programs and teachings. I'm so glad that God gave you the name Eddie so that you can truly walk in your freedom to edify us, your regular editorials. And of course, the play is on EDDIE, Eddie. Your weekly episodes of Edification are gems. Anybody who's interested in their personal growth and development through genuine awareness cannot say that they do not feel edified when you are done with your weekly sharing. I like that you're fearless and daunting with your bravery. I also admire that you are really not seeking friends, and you so eloquently put it as regularly as you say it. I follow every aspect of anything you do, and your consistency amazes me. If consistency were a person, he would be called Eddie Frederick. Last week when I heard you reiterate that the reason why people come with distractions to take others off their focus is because they would not be able to stop them if they allowed them to remain focused, because a focused person is indeed a powerful person. Words to that effect. Trust me, you are a reflection of true focus. I can't help but realize that you must read a lot, or you pay attention and view loads of positive and uplifting stuff that keep your brain operating and functioning in the focused direction that aids your frankness. I agree with you totally that Grenadians, the current crop that the last administration single-handedly helped to craft and left to run amok all over the place, need more than a straight talking to. If only people would have listened to you over the years, instead of wanting to kill you, the messenger, and taken the necessary action, where we are today, we would not be for sure. I recall you warning that we were going to hell in a handbasket way back when. I remember you advising people to straighten up and fly right. I recall you forewarning that if you do not take stock, if we do not take stock, Grenadians, born and bred here, would become second, third, and even fourth-class citizens in their own land. Those things have come to pass. I totally agree with you that the civilization has gone to hell, and the 23 years of visionless leadership sealed the deal for us. Our education system has proved to be depleted and useless for our current national needs if we were to really depend or develop as a people beginning the second 50-year cycle as an independent nation with meaning. Independence speaks to freedom, yet for all, we are still feeding off the prescription of the former mother country, as if she were really a great mother to us. We are too lazy to make any meaningful attempt to make adjustments to our current constitution order. And so because of the political polarization in which we are steeped, it appears almost impossible to make the necessary adjustments as people supportive of one side or the other will not ensure a successful process. Grenada is truly booby-trapped, one way or other. I am sure you are seeing how ardent a listener or follower I am of yours, because the things you articulate, I think about all the time. What a pity enough of us here in Grenada are thoughtful enough to be genuinely patriotic, but instead more programmed to be enablers and wheelers and dealers, as long as we could get our share and actively benefit personally. You hit some serious nerves in your last few programs, and I could not agree with you more when you highlighted the impending complacency of certain current government ministers who seem clueless as to the true desperate state of many people. And if they can be perceived to be omitting to stay connected with them, they can by their own omissions, aid the return of what we changed, dropping us all back onto the train to nowhere fast. It was also heartening to hear you lament the behavior of many of the so-called NDC supporters who operate with the mentality of green and whose votes were for exchange and not genuine change that Grenada truly deserves after so many years of bondage steeped in absolute backwardness, graft, and total corruption. Just the other day, I was somewhere in a social event. When your name came up, there was one person in the group who started to bash you and became so comfortable when another joined in to offer some chorus. It was very interesting for the rest of us to get to find out from them both that they actually do not know you. All they claim to know is that they do not like you. I was amazed to learn about you even more from at least 3 of the others in the group whose lives you touched in a meaningfully positive way. You should see the embarrassment on the faces of the 2 who do not know you at all, yet they know they do not like you. One of them even said, "You see how it is not good to listen to and believe wholesale what other people think of someone unless you have the same or similar experience or experiences." At least that one was mature enough to make the adjustment out of shame, while the other kept completely quiet. At the end of the little conversation and the function altogether, these same 2 could have been seen gathering their doggy bags and making sure they position themselves properly to package leftovers to take home. Oh Lord. No wonder they do not like you, because I have heard you say that is among the reasons you do not accept invitations and socialize altogether, because it is not easy to witness these dressed up people behaving so lowly to be rushing to gather leftovers in foil to take home from proper gatherings they were invited to. We have already spoken about this, and you are already aware. I really am glad that Grenada has someone like you to continue to stand in the gap for us, who love and adore listening to you and learning loads from you. You are a true EDDIE-FYAH. I wish more people could be as selfless as you have been continuously over the many years. We have seen all too often how so many Grenadians gravitate to nonsense so easily and shy away from the things that are meant for their good. But as you always say, you are not too concerned about attracting and impacting the crowd. As long as you can impact and influence one person, your objective is met. Trust me, sir, you are impacting more for sure. A participant from one of your recent motivational sharing, or a particular entity, told me she will never ever forget you as long as she lives. To think she never wanted to come to the mandatory training because, 1, she heard you were the facilitator, and because your political views and hers conflict, she was very reluctant, to the point where she almost called out sick that day. And 2, the place where she works is so poorly managed and led that she does not expect anything to change when the training is over. But today, she is thanking God she did not miss it. She said she came in negative and bottled up, but you were a ball of fire from beginning to end. You told them to stop waiting for people outside them to motivate them, and that they awake every morning and start their day with a positive intention. They should change the language they speak about themselves. They should become each other's keeper and model positive attitudes while killing each other with kindness. In other words, bring their best selves to work every day and not their whole selves, which includes all their negative attitudes. She said she never thought your voice could be so interesting to listen to for such a long time and not get bored. But your session did something within her to make her think and cause a shift in her entire focus. She said, when you compared Grenada to Singapore, which are 9 years apart with the length of time they have both been independent, and she sees where Singapore is and where we here in Grenada are not. She herself realizes that it is not only leadership that caused that, but our persistent low level as a people to choose poor leaders over the years. It was like an epiphany for her, because she too must take responsibility for her actions over the years in terms of how emptily she went to the table of politics, forgetting country and following a political party. Mr. Frederick, you are doing a marvelous job. Continue to stay focused. You always tell people to stay focused, and having heard a man on a very impressive reel on one.online actually articulate the following, I understand where you are coming from. He said, quote, "The biggest attack on your life is not your health. It is the attack to distract. Because you are dangerous when you are focused. You are dangerous when you bring all of yourself, all of inner and outer resources, your time, your passion, your talent, your energy. When you bring all of that toward your vision, you arrive at a place called alignment, and you become an unstoppable source of light, and hell gets truly nervous. Those evil, wicked, and dark forces that thrive on darkness get nervous when you are focused. And that's why there's always going to be an attack to distract," unquote. Trust me, sir, you are changing lives one person at a time. I am sure you get loads of private thank yous and expressions of gratitude. I am sure you get loads of people reaching out for your counsel otherwise. Your candid frankness is your calling, and you're telling people what they need to know as against what they want to hear is precious. Trust me. Those who really can understand will be transformed. Those who are not genuine and are only looking for quick fixes will always be offended and fall by the wayside, because help is not for them during this stage where they continue to neglect their own development. Take great care now and continue to be that consistently blinding light that you are in our extremely dark local environment. More light to you, sir. As you would always say, continued blessings. Wow. Here ends that note. What a long note though, but sassy. What else can I say in response to this but wow, wow, wow. First, I do not do what I do for praise. Because around here, praise is seldom to never forthcoming. I do it for the need for it to be done, and have been blessed with the indomitable spirit to persevere and to come consistently week after week, day after day. I am glad that I continue to follow my own heart and commitment to be my authentic self, doing what I was put here to do in spite of it all. So, what is our topic today? When you walk in your freedom, it disturbs the spirits of those who do not. Folks, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with more. I believe I have 2 more seconds to give you.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the effort of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables have to come from the country cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is insane. Thank you, country cold store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at country cold stores, Mart, as stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cool Store, providing the best of frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze of the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. Stand for. Stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown up, how we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, up, and more. Going up, going up, going up, up, higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves for people together. Bang, bang, bang. Slowly up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Remember, folks, I was born to stand out, not to fit in. I was born to stand out, not to fit in. Good? We need to grow through life. Stop just going through the motions of life. We need to be intentional about our lives. When you wake up in the morning, stop this goddamn stupidness of saying, oh God, you mean it's morning already? Cut it out, because you are being ungrateful. You didn't know anything when you were asleep. And when you wake up, you think that is the first thing you should say? You should have dead. You really should have dead. You shouldn't wake up. The first thing you should say is, thank you, God, for waking me up. Stop sleeping on your bed with a cell phone. And when you're unemployed, you got a roof friend, supping and LOLing you 1 o'clock in the morning, you're getting up to run a volley of chat with that person. Put priorities in your lives so that your life is well ordered. What is discipline? What is discipline for? What consistency? Consistency, when defined, is really disciplined action that is continuous. Continuous disciplined action. That is what consistency is. So when you wake in the morning, use better language. Thank you, God, for waking me up. How are you today? I'm above ground and loving it. Cut this nonsense out about our day. So, not bad. I'm catching my tail. You know, rubbish. You're catching your tail, you're very acrobatic. As a matter of fact, you might have a tail in fruit. Check it out. Folks, come on, man. We could do better than that. Change your language, folks. Change your language. So let's move on right here. For those of you joining late, thank you for joining. Keep hitting that share button and let's get people in the room. Folks, the ego is all too present among us. And though it proves to be a danger to us, too many of us insist on operating and functioning with it. It is not a bad thing to have a little of it, to keep improving or to keep moving. When you let it get out of control, though, it becomes a power freak. You see, your corruption takes over. Your greed overflows. Your lust for power supersedes all else. You start to believe you are a god. You can never walk in your freedom when you are so consumed by the false image of how you see yourself. Snap out of it. Wake up to reality. Take stock and fix who you are. It is therefore instructive for me to share what Khalil Gibran says. And God said, love your enemy. And guess what? I obeyed him and loved myself. Since then, I was able to find the strength to dismiss any artificial enemy that comes from the outside, because I have built myself strong enough with powerful boundaries. and extremely high to almost impenetrable fences. You see, African proverb, if we have no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm, simply means that our internal struggles, doubts, and fears can be more damaging to us than external threats or enemies. It suggests that by overcoming our internal obstacles, we can become stronger and better equipped to handle external challenges. It emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, self-improvement, and inner peace in facing the adversities of the world. I think it was Frederick Nietzsche, a late 19th century German philosopher of note, who once said, if we know the why for living, we can endure almost anyhow. Check back at your personal history and see how many hows you were able to endure or withstand. This is so because you have developed strong reasons for living. You live intentionally, in other words. You see, too many people, folks, too many people suffer from what is called destination disease. Too many. They reach a certain level, earn their degrees, buy their dream cars or even homes, and then they just coast through life. But studies show that 50% of high school graduates never read another entire book. The only reason why they ever read an entire book at all is because they were in school and the subject required it. One reason they stopped reading after leaving school is because they see learning as something you do only in school, just something you do for a period of life instead of as a way of life. We all learned when we were in school. Our teachers, coaches, and parents taught us. We were expected to learn when we were school age. But some tend to think that once they finish a certain level of education, I'm done with school. I have finished my training. I've got a good job now, so there's no need for me to learn anything else. Folks, that's a big mistake because winners never stop learning. And this is the sixth undeniable quality of a winner. God did not create us to reach one level and then stop. Whether you're 9 or 99, you should constantly be learning, improving your skills, and get better at what you do. You have to take responsibility for your own growth. Growth is not automatic, ideally. What steps are you taking to improve? Are you reading books or listening to educational videos and/or audios? Are you taking courses on the internet or going to seminars? Do you have a mentor or do you have mentors? Are you gleaning information from people who know more than you? Or are you just criticizing people who know more than you by saying, of course they feel they know everything? Because that's a popular road march in Grenada. Winners don't coast through life relying on what they have already learned. You have treasure on the inside, gifts, talents, and potential put in you by the creator of our universe. But those gifts will not automatically come out. They must be developed. They must be honed. I read that the wealthiest places on earth are not the oil fields in the Middle East or the diamond mines in South Africa. The wealthiest places are the cemeteries. You see, buried in the ground are businesses that were never formed, books that were never written, songs that were never sung, dreams that never came to life, potential that was never released. Don't go to your grave with all that buried treasure. Keep growing, keep learning. Every day we should have a goal to grow in some way, to learn something new. Anybody you hang out with who is not encouraging you to add value and grow your stock as a person, drop them. The God of our universe has put more in you than you could ever imagine. You have gifts and talents that nobody else has. Folks, new seasons of growth are in your future. You hold the key to their timely release. Do not get stagnant and hold on to the old. Keep growing, knowing that God has something better in front of you for your life. You see, I recall Oliver Samuel, the Jamaican comedian, saying loudly and clearly, "Things now run me. I run things." I like that very much because far too many of us allow our negative attitudes to run us. Every day we get to choose our attitudes, folks. We can determine to be happy and look on the bright side, expecting good things and believing we will accomplish our dreams. Or we can elect to be negative by focusing on the problems, dwelling on what didn't work out, and living worried and discouraged. These are the choices we all can make. Nobody can force you to have a certain attitude. Life will go so much better if you simply decide to be positive. When you wake up, choose to be happy. This is the fourth undeniable quality of a winner. Choose to be grateful for the day. Choose to look on the bright side. Choose to focus on the possibilities. A good attitude does not automatically come, If you don't choose it, then more than likely you will fall to a negative mindset thinking. I don't feel like going to work today. How many of you feel that every day? I've got so many obstacles. Nothing good is in my future. That's how a lot of negative people think. A negative attitude, folks, will limit your life. We all face difficulties. We all have tough times. But the right attitude is, this is not permanent. It's only temporary. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my life because this too shall pass. You see, a lot of us, when we use "in the meantime," a lot of us feel it means stop, don't do anything. No, even Granny knows "in the meantime" means make yourself useful until what you're waiting for become a reality. You see, maybe you didn't get the promotion you worked hard for, or you didn't qualify for that house you wanted. You could easily live in a sour attitude. Instead, you should think, that's all right. I know something better is coming. If you become caught in traffic, think positively. I'm not going to be stressed. I know I am at the right place at the right time. If your medical report wasn't good, you can choose to think, I'm not worried. This too shall pass. If your dream is taking longer than you thought, you can choose to think, I'm not discouraged. I know the right people and the right opportunities are already in my future. And at the right time, they will come to pass. Stop dwelling on negative, destructive attitudes that keep you in a rut. Your life will change when you change your attitude. Remember, a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You are not going anywhere unless you change it. God has so much more in store for each and every one of us. If you stop this mama guy rubbish religion nonsense and marry yourselves to spirituality instead, you will find yourself more blessed and highly favored. You see, if you want to see God's far and beyond favor, you have to start believing it. I'm a firm believer that a lot of people in Grenada are not mad at you. They are mad. It is you that these great things are happening for. Their deep-seated level of jealousy and envy and malice has them being mad that it is you making all this progress and not them. They are mad that you are in the jet stream of the Master's blessings and promotions. They continue to be mad at the fact that they did everything they could have done with the borrowed power they once had to stop you. They have sabotaged you and continue to try all now. They talked about you badly. They lied about you. They've thrown stumbling blocks in your way. They tried to close doors in your face. But you have had the audacity to continue to thrive. Folks, they must get vexed. They must come with distractions to see if they can take you off your focus. Don't fall for it. They are mad at the fact that every time they thought you were out, you bounced back. They are mad at the fact that they found out the hard way that our God of the universe fights all of your battles. They are mad at the fact that you were dealt a worse hand than everybody else, but you had a better outcome than anybody else. You did not graduate on the dean's list, magna cum laude, or summa cum laude. But you got your diploma saying, "Thank you, Lordy, for your blessings." You see, the God of the universe has raised your head way above all your enemies round about you. And they can't stand it, because no weapon they and many others formed against you ever prospered. They don't like it, but they can't stop it, because the Master's favor and hands are on you. Folks, as long as you use spiritual consciousness that you were born with, you will be able to discern these three types of people you were meant to be careful with when you encounter them in your daily walk. 1, some people's only reason for befriending you is to destroy you. These people are genuine frenemies, destiny destroyers, Judas kind of people. They are happy to walk with you as long as nothing good happens to you. Just go and show any sign of success. You will see their true colors. They are truly dangerous. You should never trust anyone who calls you a friend, and yet they hang out closely with all the people they know do not like you. 2, household enemies. Walk in your calling, even in the midst of resistance from within your families. Family for many has been the biggest battleground. The Master's chosen ones don't ever walk alone. Learn from Joseph, learn from David and others according to biblical teachings. The enemy uses these people closest to you to help destabilize you. Do not allow household blood ties to succeed in challenging your calling. Rise above them, stay strong, and keep moving forward with your journey. And the third, so we see users, abusers, and opportunists as the 3 types to stay clear of in your life. Pretenders are opportunists who only stick around if they see a benefit for themselves. They drain your energy, strain your resources, use you to provide hookup with influential people within your circle, and would disappear when you are faced with challenges. They will even use deceit against you in certain activities and opportunities when they come up. Be cautious of these destiny destroyers. Again, Grenada is full of them. Grenada is like a factory for them, simply because people are not interested in personal growth and development. You must recall that I told you some time ago that selfishness is a direct result of dunceness. No man is an island. When you are selfish, you lose. We are all here to be of service to one another. And when we truly serve, we are expressing our true and unfiltered freedom to live and grow. We have a lot of people who are hogging property, hogging land, and hogging this and hogging, and through deceit, taking information from people and going and see if they could undercut them acquire more, folks. At the end of the day, whether you're rich or you're poor, all of us have one piece of property that we occupy. It is 4 feet wide, 10 feet long, and 6 feet deep. I hope that is an awakening form of reality for us to understand. Because while we are mashing up great relationships for the sake of acquiring things, material, and property, we, all of us, in the end, will only get a 10 by 4 by 6. When you walk in your freedom, you realize that maturity has actually taken you to a place where all the nonsense that once mattered no longer matter. You easily see ego and false pride from miles off. You see unacceptable behavior manifesting itself first in the negative attitudes people carry around with their body language, which exudes an energy that you no longer want to be around. It is time to find your peace. And one sure way to do so is to limit your movements around people and places that subtract from your positive energy. Keep away from energy draining activities and energy draining people. Grenada is a factory for those two, the energy draining activities and the energy draining people. We all have the power over our minds, not outside events. Realize this and we will find strength. If we fall for everything that is said about us or about things around us that hold our interests, and we allow others to think for us and lead us down the path of using no sense of reasoning to figure out anything, we will be totally distracted and lose any hope we may have had of remaining focused. You see, the war between Iran and Israel is something to keep our eyes on. It has started to have negative effects on world gas prices. Gas prices were already high everywhere. In fact, the war in Ukraine started its staggering fluctuations. The news brought on international business segments of CNN, Fox, WION, Al Jazeera, etc. Cover it. These things are covered. Folks, I want you to know the telephone aspect of these smart devices that we crave and we own. Some of us ain't have running water at home, but we have a $3,000 phone. Some of us ain't have running water at home, no toilet inside, but we have two $3,000 phones, a Samsung and an iPhone. And all we use those smart devices for is the small telephone facility to make a call, to receive a call, WhatsApp for messages, and to take picture. We don't even realize that we are connected to the world by these smart devices. And here all we continue to manifest abject dunceness just by our very behavior on a daily basis. We have no right to be dunce because we have the tool in our hands. The tool is right here, folks. The connection is there. Some of you will pay for data and top up before you pay for a meal. But yet for all, you're using this smart device for infantile and puerile purposes. No wonder the old nastiness could have kept you in captivity for so goddamn long. We have some people selected and celebrated local fools and idiots who the Deacon Mitchell administration have given no time of day, and who by their behavior you could see they are begging for relevance. behaving as if the promised oil and gas that the old nastiness told us we have found on the eve of the 2018 general election have been drilled, extracted and refined, and sent to market, like in the case of Guyana. We have no choice but to allow the price of oil and gas to fluctuate in reality. If people would check on their priorities and line them up properly, they would manage their expenses properly and stop investing in their wants and feeling it's the government's responsibility to take care of their needs. Folks, this is something I've been saying for years. But you know what is interesting? Earlier on this year, the esteemed governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, in one of his addresses, made that point, and as bluntly as he said it, people in the ECCU, in the union, the currency union, you know, to include all the islands, they spend the little money that they have, their earnings on their wants, fete, rum, party. And you hear them on calling programs. The government this and the government that, the government in helping them with this and the government take them and make the children they have. So the government must buy books for the children and give them uniform. All this time, their money is to do stupidness. And then they're on calling program, bashing governments for not helping them with their children. And they're poor and vulnerable. You made the choice to be poor and vulnerable. Change your thinking, and your poverty-stricken way and your vulnerabilities will disappear. Change your attitude towards yourself. And that's why I told you, we were born to stand out, not to fit in. Because to fit in is too easy. Let's make some effort to stand out with our lives. You see, according to World Bank, our economy is forecast to grow by 4.1%. Fourth line after Guyana at 34.3%, St. Vincent at 5%, and Dominica at 4.6%. Why is Guyana's economy projected to grow by so much, you may ask? You see, they did not have an old nastiness to promise them that they have found oil as a pre-election gimmick, as the greatest hoax that our local old nastiness did the naive and ignorant population here in 2018, winning all 15 seats for a second consecutive term. Guyana found oil for real, and drilling has started in earnest. So if this new income, these billions of dollars that are going to come into the economy of Guyana, it therefore means this new money coming in, the economy must grow, and must grow exponentially. But we ain't doing too bad. And it's not we that say, you know, World Bank says 4.1%. Very good for a little starved out economy. You see, the other thing that is of a vexing proportion here is the debacle between the popular Roman Catholic priest and the Trinidadian-born bishop. What a travesty, with both seemingly on an ego trip that can only take the entire church to hell in a handbasket. This saga apparently continues between the two egos in the local Catholic faith. I recently opined on the post of Ali Mathura. This is a sad development, if at all true. There is absolutely no church, C-H-U-R-C-H, if there is no you. To a great extent, the you in church is so deeply damaged that a properly evolved church is not possible. People, we need to take stock of ourselves and what we tolerate for fear that what we tolerate will continue. it would be instructive if this could end in a cleansing and a total reset for the local Roman Catholic faith. I have already had my say on this last week, and so I'm really not interested in going down the road with these two. Our society is too mangled by the poorest examples of leadership over the years in all strata. And I'm not surprised that the moral guardian segment of our bastions of society, the church, has put its decay on public display. Folks, out of all this must come some good. I'm totally convinced. One way or other, my reclusive nature guarantees me shelter from society's reigns of decadence. To walk meaningfully alone is to walk confidently in your freedom, which ought to be very, very disturbing to those spirits who cannot and do not. I am in, I'm out, and I'm gone. Thank you for joining. Continue to share. See you next week at the same time and same place for more extraordinary programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well. Remain vigilant and lifted. One other thing to add here, folks. Stay focused. Don't let anybody distract you from your focus. Because a focused man is an extremely dangerous man. Is a man who walks in his freedom. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in my name, Edward or Eddie Frederick. Subscribe, like, and share. And be prepared to receive your multivitamins, your mental multivitamins, as straight up as I deliver them consistently. To live, folks. Peace and blessings to all of you. And thank you for joining me once more. Have a great week now.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This has been Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, a generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Edification. We will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Having the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island. Best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters. Friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, one people together. Slowly up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie